I greet you folks. Welcome to another program in a series, Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Let's consider this. Suspected fifth columnist, now serving minister in cahoots with terrorists. An old Chinese curse approximates to the moments we are spending now. It says, "May you live in interesting times." You know, the sentiment behind the phrase is this: living through interesting times of uncertainty is more of a curse than a blessing. A known terrorist kingpin, Bello Turji, has let it be known that a serving Minister of State for Defense and former Governor Bello Matawale allegedly empowered evil terrorists when he was Governor of Zamfara State. The governor reportedly initiated an amnesty scheme that provided financial rewards and protection for bandits who laid down their arms and abandoned criminality. The deal failed, and Turji says the bandits returned to their evil ways. You remember the late Prime Minister of Britain, Winston Churchill, said, "When there's no enemy within, the ones outside cannot hurt you." Let's have a discussion. The late Winston Churchill said, "When there's no enemy within, the ones outside cannot hurt you." So my two discussants are the smooth, easygoing Cyril Abako. Cyril is a broadcaster and communications expert. Cyril, welcome.
Thank you, Citizen Jones.
Cyril is joined by the unputdownable Emeka Madunagu, who is a journalist and a political commentator. Emeka,
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, gentlemen, so that we seem to have a fifth columnist in Mr. President's cabinet is it raises the national adrenaline or something like that. We're familiar with this story, or aren't we? Emeka?
Well, it's quite interesting to know. Well, I know that
because we are living in interesting times.
Interesting times, interesting scenarios, interesting people, interesting government. You know, everything interesting. So, yes, Bello Matawale, as governor of Zamfara State, you know, had an amnesty program, just as the prologue stated, you know. Just like some other governors, Bello Masari, you know, his colleague Bello Masari, Bello Masari of Katsina, you know, had something like that. Then, previously, some years ago, President Umar Yar'Adua had an amnesty program for Niger Delta militants. In Benue State, the former governor, Samuel Otom, had something like that. And in some states here and there, you've had things like that. Former governor of Imo State, Rocha Sokoncha, promised something like that. He even said he wanted to have an AGM with all the criminals in the state. That you come, they would discuss like businessmen, and you know, he would do something to me. You know, they would agree. You know, mutually.
That is also interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Nigeria is a very interesting place. I mean, if we had many novelists in Nigeria, they will make a lot of money. Just, you know, writing about Nigeria is something, you know, sometimes you just want to think about what topic do I really focus on? Because you have like 10 topics and you don't even know which one, you know, to go to deal with. So now that's on a general level. But the amnesty program, you know, that Tuji Tuji is now a serving. Tuji moved on to become a serving minister. So the others.
No, you mean Matawale.
Sorry, I mean Matawale. I'm sorry. Matawale moved on to become a minister. He's a serving minister. So I wonder if he still has a relationship with those bandits, because what Tuji was trying to, you know, put out there, you know, appeared to be unclear. Yes, he gave amnesty to terrorists, just like some of his colleagues, you know, had done in the past. But now, if he's still maintaining a relationship with those bandits, with those terrorists, then that is where, you know, I'll have a problem. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but I'm just saying that it will be interesting for the government to really look into that.
Emeka, that a terrorist kingpin like Bello Turji,
yes,
would be stealing the headlines is also interesting for me.
That's why, you know, that's why. Well, the issue is that I think sometimes we as journalists we miss the context of issues. You know, so you just find people come out, say things. We don't interrogate. You know, we don't interrogate the depth. We don't look at historical antecedents.
Yours is to get the news.
Oh, Tuji says that because looking at what Tuji said, well, pardon me, there's nothing unusual in the fact that someone as a governor took certain steps to bring down the insecurity in the state. But if after Mataole left as governor, you know, he has retained a relationship with those people, that is where I have a problem.
Yeah. Cyril, but we have been a long time coming. Before Turji became the star boy here, in a manner of speaking, names like that of Ndume and former governor, the Borno governor, Shetima. When the news, regarding this same scenario, so makes you think: are we damned, or is it a choice we have made?
Well, I think the latter serves it better for me, because to ask whether we are damned is a bit of even euphemising the mess and rot we find ourselves in. I beg to begin from the last question you asked Emeka, or the last intervention Emeka made about the question of Turji now setting the sort of grabbing the headlines. And I'm wondering, why should what the terrorists have become the reference point for a conversation?
That's it.
On national security? And for all that you care, I also respectfully differ from what Mr. Madunago said earlier. There is the possibility that the minister keeps in touch with them, if only to be able to quickly reach them if they did anything new. Yeah. And the government, after that, is Minister of Defense to the Minister of Defense. So,
Minister of Defense.
So it even makes it all the more imperative, quote, for him to be in touch with them in case. Now, so how can a government, a governor, now a minister, have links with terrorists?
Personal
terrorists. And it's not as if that is being used to decimate them and to bring them to... Now, what we have to do is not a terrorist making an allegation against a minister. That is the news. So the terrorist is claiming some sort of legitimacy or some sort of a right to also be heard. It's fundamental right to be heard. So we will now blame the minister and say the terrorist is right. Come on. But you see, we've created a ferment. We've created a sort of milieu in which these kind of things thrive. And yes, they fester and thrive. And it's not far-fetched. The minister himself and his ilk are the people who have made this kind of environment to, and the fact that he secured a promotion from governor to minister. Remember, it was in Mataole that we had a theater of the most absurd. There was a particular incident in which they were to ban this Turji. I recall that the National Daily did a story that the government had blessed or the government had endorsed or approved that he be banned. He will be banned in the city and then go back into the forest as a terrorist.
Yeah.
He took a story that was done by, I think, Premium Times to put the Turbaning event on hold. Maybe they later Turbanned him. But he don't even want to know the extent of influence, the extent of power. Yes, the authority that these people will. In fact, in the manner of speaking, these guys have more control over people in their domains.
Yeah, see, when I hear interventions like this from you, my mind would go readily to the El Chavezes of this world and his cousin, the other one, the greatest drug lord, Escobar, you know. And the government determined it was time to take them out, and they took them out.
Yeah, but the Nigerian case is if the government determines to do it, it will. Except that in Nigeria, I think that taking out people like this may even be a symptom. The real problem in Nigeria today is that the state has lost the viability of its own policy. When a state has become unself-conscious, when a state can be questioned based on the viability of its own proposition for self-existence, then there's a real problem. Because you imagine that when a country in which there is a lot more, how do they put it, that there is more than what the eye sees, more
to it than meets the eye.
That means that Nigeria is a bit of a funny country. A president said one time that even Boko Haram was on his cabinet. Now you have people who have said, but there are governors who are sponsoring Boko Haram. There are monarchs and who are sponsoring Boko Haram. There are intellectuals, scholars. The other day in Katsina, the vice chancellor said that some staff of his school were serving as informants to bandits. So maybe we don't understand the extent of the rot of because government can just come and say we want to. You even ask who and who in the government, because if you have governments that have first gone to pay obeisance to bandits before becoming governors and presidents, how can they have been also allowed to go and wipe them out?
It begs the all-important question. Did we elect to live like this? Or this just happened to us, Emeka?
It's one of the symptoms of corruption. Corruption and terrorism financing go hand in hand. You see, a society where people have easy access to state funds, to public funds, and have that proclivity to steal, let's put it as bluntly as possible, they will find places where they can put, hide this money. And what will they do? They'll just find some malcontents, upgrade them, set them, in gangs. They begin as gangsters, they have gangs, they take over certain areas. And then gradually, the ones that are more loyal to them than others, they empower them to take down others and then begin to expand their territory. Now, through these people, a lot of stolen money, stolen public money, is funneled. Siphoned. And these people do what they call, the street wash. They, turn this money into legitimate funds.
Carpetbaggers.
All kinds of, you can call it any name. In Somalia, there was a time when investigation was, done about the activities of Al-Shabaab. And it was discovered that, do you know what? The truck drivers, just innocent guys who are just doing their job, driving trucks, carrying grains and different things, were somehow turned into accomplices and financiers of terrorists. You see, these people set up roadblocks where these truck drivers were made to part with money. But because these places were territories somewhat controlled by terrorists. So such money was used, to wash illicit money, terrorism financing from different parts of the world. So it was set out as, okay, no, this is money now coming from checkpoints, from taxes that these people pay and all of that. But now that money would also go through, some channels, kiosks, I said it one time on the national TV station. I said, when we talk about terrorist financing, us who are ordinary citizens, who are ordinary people, just going about our daily business, might unwittingly have financed terrorism one way or the other. Maybe through, you bought something from a shop, you didn't even know it has something to do with terrorists. You may just go to a bar to take a drink or a restaurant. So you see, these people are so, and when they keep stealing money, there's a limit to how much flamboyance you can throw. Because people, before people will begin to say, wait a minute, what is all this? So in order to, move money easily, there are different channels.
Okay, Emeka, thank you. Cyril, back to you. I'm told that the 3 leading illicit trades on the planet include gun running, illicit drug trafficking, and of course the other one.
This is sex trafficking. Human sex, child trafficking.
But we have all of them here. That's to say that it's bad enough is understating it.
No, the skill of what we have here is to leave us with the assumption that ultimately those who ought to be curbing it are those who are actually encouraging it,
enabling, financing, and protecting it.
So for them, so let's even go back to Zamfara, where we have
and if you make to stop them, you are said to be guilty of being against what do you call it now? Freedom of speech.
Well, because of course, given their level of entrenchment, they can cook up anything against anybody. They can hire social media mobs to come after you. They can do all sorts.
They hire the best lawyers
in the world to fight to do. Now let me take you back to Zamfara, where we have our matter of interest. Former Governor
Matawale, yeah.
Now, citizen, to be honest with you, when we add layer upon layer to a problem, even if the problem has been there for God knows a century, a millennium, the least any leader can do is two things. One, don't add to it. Two, try to reverse it.
Yeah.
Matawale was governor of Zamfara. When he left office, we heard that he had taken how many SUVs? You know,
about 40 or so
to his house.
Yeah.
Now that is apart from monies that DFC said he had stolen.
And nothing happened.
And then yes, a third element was the way the DS or whoever screens nominees for minister and tells the president good to go, not good to go. The DSS or anybody who screened these people certify of a truth that Matawale had a clean bill of health and therefore should make minister given his record with these terrorists. Given his record, you see, because when there are some things you do, you are sending a message that you are okay, that certain things sit well with you. The president, for all you can, maybe working, maybe racing against the clock,
yeah,
to secure Nigeria. But does appointed Matawale help me in any way? I have my reservations.
Okay.
So you know, now this man is in office, he's in power. And look at what the terrorist is saying against him. Something strong enough. On a good day, we should ignore Toji.
Absolutely, yes.
But these people are the same people who you ignore at your peril.
Yeah.
You ignore them at your peril. Are we helping ourselves? Are we trying to solve the problem? Are we trying to have a secure society? President Buhari, for in fairness, whether he was aware or not, is another issue. But things got so bad that terrorists went to his own village in Daura and kidnapped the mayor of Daura. All right, this was people in Katsina began to shout and say, Mr. President has forsaken us. And this is Governor Masari, who was if you talk of core Buhari in the north, and
he was the ringleader.
He was more or less what's the word? Masari could have been the heir apparent or the crown prince to the Buhari's machine in Katsina at least. But then what happened at the very end? In fact, Governor Matawale was constrained to negotiate with terrorists to the point where the leader of the, I don't know whether it was Tojo, brought his slung his rifle.
Assault rifle.
It was slung it on his shoulder and was talking to the governor. Is that done?
Where a governor is supposedly surrounded by security
forces.
But you are not even sure that they are among those security forces.
They are not
it's so bad.
So when we talk about when we talk about doing what happened in Colombia or Mexico or so, one, no society should ever make the mistake of letting things slide to that point.
Yeah.
But where Nigeria is today, right, it will require a president who doesn't mind, who will take his life out, because if you wouldn't, then don't even start it. Because you'd be amazed. It was in Olusegun Adeniyi's book. We read, if my memory serves me right, Power, Politics, and Death, right? That there was a lady in the president's office who was photocopying documents off of Yaradua's briefcase and was selling to bank chiefs. And then he said that there was a meeting himself, the president, and one more person held. The president insisted that Adeniyi must be in that meeting. In which, just 1 second, in which they were to take a decision about somebody. After they decided, the person called him minutes later and warned him never to. So, you know,
Yeah. See, you know, the last line of my opener will not be lost on me. Winston Churchill. When there is no enemy within, the ones outside cannot hurt you. We talked about the choices we have made, alarming choices we have made, and which we're still making. You know, when it became like second nature to edify street gangs and so on. Emeka, I remember in Cyril's River State, the Alufo, you remember?
Alufo, yes.
And we had things like the day world. What do you call it?
The Icelanders,
in Lagos here, at the time we had the 1,000 boys.
1 million boys.
1 million boys. So you get the impression we are in a mess.
Yeah. You see, the sad thing is the nature of politics we play. It's still crude. Very at the crudest level.
Zero-sum politics.
Yeah, at the crudest level. It's not about trying to woo the voters, but just trying to force people to put up a show. I mean, look at what is happening in Edo State, for instance. You are going to see a low voter turnout on the day of election because the way the build-up, the weaponization of the
build-up is horrible.
And you see, it is in such a situation whereby people are armed. I don't even know who is not armed.
Court pronouncements become a source of worry. Then
why is courtism a major problem in Nigeria?
Yeah.
It's politicians that finance courts now. You see, I've said it, that look, one major cause of insecurity, for instance, in the southeast, you talk about IPOB, you talk about unknown gunmen and all of that. That these guys are not unknown. These guys are acolytes of politicians. These guys are called guys.
They have paymasters.
Yes, they have paymasters who hire them. They have paymasters who hire them. They are not unknown. I ran into them. I ran into them, and I did a quick profile of them as an investigative journalist. I did a quick profiling of them, and I said, "Wait a minute. These guys are just anybody can just call and say, boys, come, come. Job there. There's work. Come." Because look at the bus. I traveled in. It was an air-conditioned bus, So for those boys to even be asking the old man, an elderly man, asking him for money. So imagine a politician who came to look for people to do a dirty job. Of course, he would just quickly, they would...
It would mess them up.
Straight away. So the thing is that it is sad that we've come to such a situation. The youths are not being encouraged and empowered, into schemes that will make them to be noble citizens and
to realize their full potential.
Yes, unfortunately, I've met youths, who said, I went into crime because there was no alternative. Talking and all that, your heart will break. That look at. I met one time, was an armed robbery suspect. I asked him, what happened? He said it was his stepmother. She kept saying, you are not a man, you are useless, you are this and that. So in order to show her that as a man, I almost broke down at that point. I just told him, I said,
thank God you are not listening. Thank God you didn't break down.
No, I said, but it was a bad day for me. I told him, I said, I wish you hadn't listened to that woman.
Yeah.
But this boy, you see, this that healthy young man whom I believe would have made better use of his life. So what I'm saying is that, you see, we also have a problem. So we talked about the vice chancellor who said some members of his staff were informants. Do you know? A security officer on Buhari's team, a police officer on former President Muhammad Buhari's team was dismissed because he was found to have links with Boko Haram. While Buhari was serving as president.
Why not use him and get more?
No, you see, the thing is all about money. This thing boils down to money, survival. So people can lend themselves.
It is a choice.
Of course, horrible choices.
Because as it is, if the I mean, let's be what's the word now? Be thorough and detailed.
Yeah.
If you wanted to deal with a menace and you found a rope that could lead you to the end, all right, of that problem, you should take it. The case of the president's security detail that was found to have, so who was he talking with? Did he have accomplices? You just sack him like that. Why not use him as a bait?
That's Nigeria.
We had the case of who again? Who came out, Governor Rufai, who said they have their phone numbers and that they listen to them. It will amaze you when the Dapchi kidnap happened. What did we find? Somebody made a call after they put it. Somebody made a call and said, "We have them now on the bus. We are going." You mean they couldn't triangulate to say the calls that were made in Dapchi that day? And so if we are clearly not willing, neither are we ready to end this security.
Again, gentlemen, our job here is not always to tell it as it is. That we mold opinion. Let me take it that we are a long way from home. Let's start going back home. What is the way forward, Emeka, do you think?
The way forward is, let us treat insecurity as insecurity. Let's not take advantage of insecurity, because no matter how you try to domesticate a tiger, you will still end up in his belly. Look at what Toji said. He said something very instructive, which is what happens when you patronize criminals.
Who talked about a tiger and its tigritude?
I said a tiger does not,
sing his tigritude.
Yes. But in this case, people try to, they think they can domesticate a tiger to the extent of removing, its tigritude.
Yeah.
So now look at something Toji said, that those who are settled later return to their evil ways. And that's what happens. Checkmate.
Which says he is a practicing,
of course, Toji, they are different names. I don't remember their names.
They are evil ways, while he has remained on his own morally upright path.
Whatever that means.
Okay.
So let's deal with insecurity as insecurity. And then we need to do something about the socio-economic conditions in Nigeria. People are just open to, being recruited into just about anything. Just about anything. Sometimes I tell young people, I said the reason why some of us didn't become cultists or some of these things, it's just out of fear. Because our parents were not there, we went to school, but out of fear that, me carry gun, if they kill me, I will die. No. We just...
Emeka, I had a teacher who said, if all jobless people in the country became criminals, we wouldn't go there for those where they still the dreamer.
Like somebody made a joke that, talking about this scam artists, and said that, this con artist, that, too many Yahoo boys in town. So who can be client now? It's a sad situation. It's a sad commentary. But what it means is that, you see, look at the woman who said terrorists asked her to bringing women for them. Then she now got the point. And then she gave two of her, her two daughters. After all, doing this facilitation, that her daughters too should benefit from, So you see, that mentality.
One said a horrible thing like, terrorists pay me 30 to 40,000 for a round of sex.
That's the woman.
Okay.
That's the same woman.
I would have.
What about the
that woman could have led us somewhere.
People are caught.
Easily.
People are being caught from time to time.
Yes.
There are some terrorists who have said, no, I'm tired of this kind of life.
Yeah.
I want to live well. But when they go and they give information, do you know it's the same security officers who will go, some rogue security officers will go and tell us, that guy is giving us information about you, about your group.
Emeka, time is tight. Cyril, is it possible for you to close your thoughts here in 60 seconds? Is it possible?
Absolutely.
What's the way home?
The way home is very easy and simple. The president should sit with his service chiefs, his security chiefs, NSA, DSS, police.
Name them.
name them, and then get them together and give them marching orders, give them a deadline, tell them you will have everything you need. But the last terror attack should be the last terror attack we saw in this country. What do you need? And let him follow through. No political solution. Follow through with it. I think that if he did that, I can assure in 2 weeks we will have good results.
Maybe like Churchill said during the war, I have nothing to give but blood, sweat, and tears.
Exactly. And then Otto von Bismarck said that in the end, the last question of the day will be addressed by iron and blood.
Yeah.
The president, commander-in-chief, he should not be afraid of it. Deploy iron and let blood, answer the rest.
Okay, we'll not supply the breaks here, but not before thanking Cyril Abaku for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Emeka Madonago, we thank you too. Well, mine is simple. We must become a country that punishes bad behavior, terribly bad behavior, and we can start it from here.
Yeah.
Happy you stayed up this long. We'll be back with you the next time. Until then, this is Citizen Jones Hussein saying thank you. Bye-bye now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.